sheep whom ye have shepherded over have turned against me. They have broken the holy covenant between me and you. They have whored themselves with idols, whom they have crafted with thine own hand, and they have bowed themselves and worshipped these abominations. They have said, blessed be these idols, whom have led and provided for them 1,000 years. Since they have done this thing, and taken my blessing, and given it to the idols, my wrath is poured out upon the whole world. A decrepit sickness has been unleashed into the world, for all of their wickedness and worshiping death. They shall become decrepit things, spreading death. This is my judgment on all those who transgress my laws, and who have defiled my covenant. Death. Death. But not for you and your brother. You shall stay here in my holy mountain as I test the entire world to see if they shall serve me or choose death. I have spoken, so shall it be. Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Word of the Most High Yah. I'm your host, Priest of the Most High, Lucifer the Lambew. And it feels good to be in front of you, all Israel, again today, and have an opportunity to go over the scriptures with you and touch bases with all of the street ministers, street preachers out there in the byways and the highways, or highways and byways, preaching this truth and pushing the agenda of the Most High Yah. You know, before I begin going over some material, I'm going to be going over be going over sanctification, breaking forth, and how what that means when the Most High breaks forth. Also go over the 10 Commandments and how the Most High is a jealous God, and whatever else comes to mind. Before I get into all that, before I begin, you know, I just want to thank all of our subscribers here on both our main page, Sakuma08, at YouTube, as well as our many subscribers on my personal channel, Lucifer Lambew, on YouTube. So I want to take the opportunity to thank you all for really, looking at all this material and, here forbear taking it into account. And I also want to take the opportunity to thank, my enemies, our enemies, the enemies of Israel, who do so much to try and come against this truth, for subscribing and giving us their opinions on the posts, via posts on these various videos and these series. And this series itself, in the Word of the Most High Yah, as well as End Time Current Events series, and giving their opinions on, Israelite proof on my favorites section of my site. And just, sorry about that, guys. My dog. I'm actually filming from the living room today, so May. I'm actually filming from the living room today. But again, I also want to take the time to. Also want to take the time to thank our enemies. But for those who still believe that somehow, we're exceedingly racist here, how would and for those who think that for some reason it's all about color, that we just have a hatred for white people or hatred for white things, that's not true. And to prove it, I have a little guest. I have two guests today. One guest, and both of them are white. Sort of. Guest number one, to prove that we here at Lambew Ministries are not just all about color, is my guest here, Shaggy, who is an actor from our movie series, Mirror Images, who played Kiori. Ta-da! And as you can see, he's white. Sort of. So, yeah. Say hi, Shaggy. Yeah. Say hi to our video audience, and just letting them see you shows them that we obviously ain't just all about color. Okay. Well, thank you, Shaggy, for joining us. And our other guest, who also lives with us, who is white, is Leo. All right, Leo. Show our viewers that we're not just racist. We're not racist and just all about color. Oh, there you are. Say hello to our viewers, Leo. Leo. He's white-ish, aren't you, Leo? You're white-ish. And so, obviously, if we had an issue with just people based on their color, we'd have an issue with you, right? Right, Leo? Which we don't. Because, of course, it's not about color. All right, Leo, say goodbye. All right, come sit there next to me. All right. With that being said, I felt like it was a necessity to address the whole charge by our enemies that somehow we just have a problem with things that lack melanin, or with or that we saw primarily just in white and black and basically just color, which that's not the case. Being an Israelite has nothing to do with color necessarily. It is about lineage, the lineage of your father, which determines what nation and what nationality, what lineage basically you come from. There are light-skinned Israelites, dark-skinned Israelites. So we're basically brown at different variations of brown. Yeah, if you want to get technical. So it's not about color per se. And nor do we have just a dislike for white or or any color, by the way, because again, it's just colors. It has nothing to do with your lineage. But I just thought I'd have a little fun with that. And I hope you enjoyed it. But yes, I do, again, want to just take the time to thank all of our viewers. Thank you, O Israel. It is for you that the Most High has sent the men of God out to the street corners and provided and given us the ability to provide the advanced teachings on the scriptures, myriad teachings revealing the truth of the Most High's word, in person on those street corners, as well as behind the booth in the series that we the Most High has us producing and dishing out. Series like the Bible study series, which is hosted by Priest of Most High Lambew, as well as this series which I host. All right, so again, just taking the time to thank and acknowledge all those out there who has made the decision to, whether they like it, dislike what's being taught to them, but have made the decision to open their eyes and allow their eyes to be opened and to listen to the word of the Most High, to the truth of this word, and to be able to make up their own mind based on having the information. Because there's a lot of people, majority of people in Babylon, who are delusional and so delusional and in love with their delusion that they turn off any kind of information that goes against the mainstream media or mainstream narrative, or what is the comfortable lies that they eat every day. You know. And where that is prevalent in Babylon, where that is the majority of the Babylonians here, the Most High is allowing some people not to be that way. There's a percentage of people who are looking into Edomites, whether it be Edomites, Moabites, Amorites, Ishmaelites, or just so-called Negroes who are who are the Israelites of Scripture, the Jews of Scripture, who still have their head in the stand, but yet, the Most High is giving them the spirit to look at and to seek out the truth, whether they like it or don't like it. And that is the reason why, or a good percentage of the reason why, they have made a commitment to watch these telecasts, as well as meet us in real life or whatever, to ascertain for themselves what is and what isn't the truth of what we're talking about. So I want to thank everybody for doing that, for being in the camp of at least the people paying attention to what's going on in the nation and what's going on with this Israelite truth. So Israel, thank you. All right, now moving on, let's go ahead and get to the topic at hand. See here, I was going to go over. I'll go ahead and start with just Israel is above all nations, because you know what, it's a wonderful thing, and I love to listen to the Most High describe and talk about Israel as He sees it. And if you want to join with me on that one, just go to Exodus chapter 19, verse 3 through 6. And if I went over this with you before, don't worry about it, because it's always a good thing to be able to hear the word of the Lord and to see ourselves through His eyes. It goes, and Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my commands, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and in a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. So we're a holy nation unto the Most High. Now, of course, we haven't fulfilled as a nation, our end of the bargain, and because of which we haven't been able to step into the future, into eternity, as being that which He has set us to be from the very foundation of the earth, from the beginning. But just Him telling us that, we were going to be the apple of His eye, basically, and above all nations, basically, it set it into motion. Now, it's true, of course, we haven't seen that just yet, but that was not only His intention, that's exactly what He's going to do. And He's utilized these captivities, and He's utilized this being on the bottom for His people as a way of preparing the remnant of them in order to inherit that promise that He gave our ancient ancestors. Now, as a nation, Israel has not been able to fulfill our end of the bargain. But the time of the bargain not being fulfilled is coming to an end. The end of this captivity, this 400-year captivity in America, and the beginning of our second exodus out of this nation will be the finalization of the rooting out of the rebels of Israel. And the remnant of those of us who survive, will inherit all the promises of the scriptures. The promises that the Most High gave our ancient ancestors. We will be, the remnant will be the ones to inherit them, including that one that you just heard about being above all nations. And as it is written, this is how you accept things that are shortly to come to pass. By walking in the light of, the promise of the Most High, even before that promise has been fully fulfilled. Because spiritually it is already so. Spiritually we are already greater than all the other nations on the earth, spiritually. Because of the love that the Most High gives us and the attention that the Most High has towards us. The fact that He says, as it is written, that basically our bodies we are the temple of the Most High, Israel. That's why he calls Himself the Holy One of Israel. So He uses our nation as that to associate Himself with, and which creates value for our nation. The fact that He says we're the apple of His eye. Believing the Most High's words true before they are 100% fulfilled requires faith. As it is written, faith moves the Most High. And the remnant of Israel, the 1/3 of Israel that will inherit, and the 144,000 that will inherit the promises of the scriptures given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all have faith in the Most High. Faith today that what He says concerning tomorrow will come to pass. Much like many of the hallmarks, many of the priests and prophets, many of the kings, and the saviors written of and explained and expressed in the scriptures, all had a measure of faith that separated them from everybody else. A great faith given to them by the Most High towards the Most High, in the Most High's word, in the Most High's promises, before they actually materialized and came to pass. Most High has credited those things to, He's giving credit to those things in His mind and in His heart. That credit matters. When He says, to go this place or that place, when He says to do this or that, when he just seeing us in the way that he sees us and believing what he says because he said it, because it is written, is a tribute to your faith, and is extremely important because it is the key to bringing down or recognizing the spiritual fruits and the blessings that the Most High has stored up and ready for Israel once we get past this transitional period from the curses to the blessings. All right, so let us continue. We're going to go over sanctuary, sanctification in the Exodus. So turn with me to chapter 19. I'm going to do verses 10 through 15. So chapter 19, 10 through 15. And it goes, "And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people around about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, and touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot thorough. Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. Okay? And I'll even add a little extra one. Let's go and do 16 as well. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeded loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. While we prepare for the coming of the Most High and for our eventual exodus from Babylon, our second exodus, sanctify yourselves. Sanctify your heart, sanctify your spirits. Wash yourself and your clothing, wash your garment. Not physically, not just physically, but spiritually. The washing, which is basically the washing away of your sins. Turn from your sins. Get rid of them. Take them to the best of your ability out of your life. Sanctify yourselves. In terms of coming to your wives, let's take it spiritually. In terms of, not partaking in, these things like holidays, the Christmases, the Thanksgivings, the Halloweens, that kind of stuff. Not, partaking in the parties and the laughter with these heathens. Be separate from their filthiness and your filthiness of your life to the best of your ability. Because on the day the Most High arrives, there will be thunder. There will be dark clouds. There will be rain. There will be a great trembling, in Israel. A great trembling. And if these people who Thank you. Thank you. I can't read. Let him go.
You should have killed me. You should have killed me, boy. Should have killed me. I'll get you. Get you. And your little ninja boy.
It's real. You must focus. You must allow your weapon to become a part of you. Are sanctified, tremble before the coming of the Most High. How much more so those who are not sanctified, those who have not separated themselves from the wickedness, who have not, to the best of their ability, those who have not separated themselves from the marriage of this of this wickedness, this wicked Gentiles in this nation, and what they do in terms of like parties and wicked holidays and basically wicked stuff. If those who are sanctified, who do that in preparation as the Most High has instructed to the men of God, if even they tremble when the Most High finally arrived, how much more those who don't? You know, maybe that's why it is written that a man's heart shall fail for the sight or what is coming, because of what is coming. Because we know that the majority of people in Babylon is wicked, have no care for the Most High, have no care for sanctification, have no care for the truth. You know. So all of you, O Israel, who is, watching and seeking truth, hear or forbear, whether you can eat everything down, which most people can't, which, is very difficult to do. But, just eating down the part that you can and get nourished, and then you'll be able to get more and more and be able to deal with more and more. But just, having the fortitude to be able to do that. To put yourself, to be allowed to be in a position to start sanctifying yourself and sanctifying your life. It was still in trembling. That's why it's written, that you etch out your salvation with trembling. Etch out your salvation with trembling. It is the fear of the Lord, the righteous fear of the Lord. Because best you me, when he comes, he's not going to come quietly. It's not going to be, the silent takeover. It's not going to be, barely missed and ignored. It's not going to be that way. He's going to announce himself. He's going to roar. He's going to shout. He's going to make mountains melt. And why? Because he's the Most High, and that's what he does. One of the things he do. So this period of time that we have, as it was written, like the 3 days that they had, 2 days to prepare, and on the third day he would succumb. In this preparation time that we have, make no mistake, do the work that's necessary in your life to work and cleansing yourself from all the wickedness that you have entertained before coming in this truth, before stumbling on this site, before stumbling on this telecast. O Israel. Because, a great trembling is coming to Israel. And we're in the process of seeing it as it fully comes into view. And that trembling is for the people who do believe and who have taken the time to work out and work on the wickedness in their own individual lives. The sin, the lies, the complacency, the laziness, the whatever in regards to this truth. Praise be to God. And it is better to tremble in the presence of the Most High than it would be to be destroyed. It is better to tremble, in the glow of the Most High than it would be, to be destroyed, wiped away, wiped out. You see? Because the sanctification and the trembling is part of the process to reestablish respect in Israel, reestablish the relationship with Israel and the Most High, reestablish the covenant with the Most High for Israel. All right? So let's go ahead and continue. What's there so to be afraid of? Let's talk about breaking forth, and if you want to, which means to kind of means to attack and to kill. If you look at the chapter 19 verses 19 verse 21 and 22, let's check it out. Again, I'm reading from the King James Version Bible, Book of Exodus, chapter 19, and I'm going to verse 21 and 22. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. Another important aspect of sanctification. The Most High ain't no joke. And when he arrives, many other things are going to arrive with him. I mean, it's going to be tumultuous. And he's basically saying, even the priests, should, be sanctified, lest the Most High break out against them. And that sanctification again being, returning to the Most High, law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, and removing these elements of your life, the sins, the lies, the the breaking of his covenant, to the best of your ability. All these things, even the traditions like Christmas and Thanksgiving and all these other, and Halloween and all the other kind of good stuff, this garbage, shall I say, getting rid of them as well, sanctifying yourself in preparation. Because if you don't, remember how we just talked about a minute ago, how how even those who have sanctified themselves are going to be trembling on the arrival of the Most High. Well, now he's talking about the people who haven't taken the time to sanctify themselves, and how he's going to break out on them. They're going to be killed. They're going to be troubled, because the Most High ain't no joke. Whoever told you or made you believe that the Most High was some fuddy-duddy teddy bear, lovey-dovey teddy bear, and that it's love fest 24 hours a day with him, and that he didn't have the capacity to do something, or he didn't have the capacity to punish and to hold people accountable, they lied to you. Because here he is saying in his own words what he's going to do to those upon his arrival that aren't sanctified, that have taken him for a joke, that believe that their life is so important that they can do whatever the heck they want to do, and that nobody's going to hold them to who seeth me type of deal. That those of our nation who are still running around playing little cops and robbers games with the Edomites, running around saying how much they love the Edomites, how much spending time with them and enjoying their sorceries and their their activities, like their gladiators, their football, their boxing, their wrestling, all this garbage that they do, and joining arm in arm with them and hanging out with them and spending time wasting their time with all these things that have nothing to do with the Spirit of the Most High, has nothing to do with the Scripture or pushing the Most High's agenda. And it's not to say that, again, that you can't have a life. It's to say that those of you who don't choose to spend that life wisely, preparing for the coming of the Most High, those of you who don't have a righteous fear of the Most High and live accordingly, those of you he'll break forth on you. He's gonna break out on you, and it's gonna cause the death and sickness and just destruction of 2/3 of our people, because they refuse to be sanctified. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to go ahead and skip the Ten Commandments for a real quick second, and I'm going to go to talk about how Yah is a jealous God, and how he performs generational curses. If you check out chapter 20, verse 5, we'll start there, but then we're also going to go to chapter 34, verse 6, and verse 6, 7, and 14. So starting off chapter 20, verse 5. And it says, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God," and he's referring to idols and whatever not, "am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the father upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me." 3rd and 4th generation, that's your 400 years. If you look at the transatlantic slave trade, if you look at the curses of ancient Israel, if you look at Genesis chapter 15, verse 13 through 15, and Acts chapter 7, verse 6 and 7, you get 400 years. That's what he was talking about here in Exodus chapter 20, verse 5. Talking about the 400 years. And if you go with what we just went over with him breaking forth for not being sanctified, and there you go, 400 years of him breaking forth on the nation, on the children of those that hate him, that refuse to be sanctified, refuse to be ready. And that's what happened to us because of our ancestors. And this was the parameters. He was setting the bounds right here, right now, as well as he does all over the scriptures. All right, so let's go to chapter 34. We're going to go 6, 7, and 14. Okay, Exodus chapter 34, and we're on verse 6. And the Lord passed by before him and proclaimed, the Lord God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering and abundant in goodness and truth. Number 7. Keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children unto the third and to the fourth generations. So again, he's saying it. He's doubling down. He's telling you this is what he does and what he will do. Verse 14 says, "For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God." Okay, what does that mean? That means, he ain't no joke. You're not going to be able to play with him. You're not going to be able to, play some game or something. To speak some jive, talk some mess. He's not going to accept nothing but the best, and that's the reason why the sanctification process is so important. That's the reason why. Because you have to get prepared to the best of your ability for the Most High's arrival. And he's not going to be playing any games with anyone of Israel who failed to be adequately prepared. Right? I mean, you remember, as is written about that story about basically the dinner or whatnot, or the wedding, and how the person who had been invited there but didn't have the proper clothing on, and they basically threw him out. A wedding's coming. The Most High is coming for the bride, which is Israel. The first fruits of Israel, which is the anointed of Israel. And the 1/3 of Israel who are the remnant, who will be pulled out of Babylon in our second Exodus. He's coming for all of them. He's even coming for the 2/3. But the 2/3 that will be destroyed are Israelites who, for whatever reason, refuse to be sanctified. And they are found not ready when he arrives. You see, people of Israel are looking forward to change, right? Even our coons, even our 2/3, they want change, And some of them are even open to the idea that the Most High is coming back for them. But they refuse to be sanctified. See, that's the key. They refuse to make a change or to work to change their life and the sin in their life, and to separate themselves from the sins of their life and their lifestyle and their life choices to the best of their ability, and to be sanctified and prepared and ready You know, when the shaking and the trembling comes to Israel upon the arrival of the Most High. And because, you know, people refuse to change their ways, to mend their ways, to make it their ways more according to the word of the Most High, is because of that they will be found lacking. They will be found unsanctified on the day of the Most High's arrival. So for everybody, for many people, shall I say, to be talking about the coming of the Most High, just look at, look everywhere. Look on YouTube, look at your churches. Everybody's talking about it being the end days and da-da-da-da. Ain't nobody talking about, very few of them are talking about sanctification. Very few of them are talking about actually making changes and actually doing those changes, and instituting those changes in their life. But except for the Akim, except for the men of God of Israel out there on those street corners, you know, and on telecasts just like this all around the world, you know, telling the people to wake up, telling our nation to wake up and to return back to God's law, statutes, and commandments. Because it could and will mean the difference between whether you're trembling or whether you're dead, whether you're trembling or whether you're destroyed, whether you're trembling or whether you're, you know, being rooted out and called a rebel by the Most High. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get back to those 10 commandments. And I'm going to read them verbatim so that you can hear them verbatim and hear and understand the word of the Most High. Alright, so let's get to it. Chapter 20, verse 3 through 7. Thou shalt have no other gods. Well, I'll start at 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Sorry about the whole fade in, fade out thing again. That's just the spirit of the Most High, and sometimes it just blurs my screen. But praise be the Most High. You know, it's a blessing. He's a blessing, and it's not the image that you see in this telecast. It is the spirit of the word that is being spoken. That is the most important. It is the spirit of the Most High that is the most important over the image, the color, the look. Those things aren't as important as the Spirit of God. And that's also what I was speaking with you earlier about, in this telecast, and what I've been talking about for a very long time. And that is that it's not about looks. It's not about the outside of the glass. It's about the inside of the glass. And the inside of the glass, needs to be purified and cleaned, lest anything you put in the glass come out filthy and dirty and disgusting. And that's what sanctification is really all about too, is working on the inside. Now, of course, no one wants to be sitting there drinking out of what appears to be a dirty glass. But at the end of the day, if you could appear to be a dirty glass, or you could, at the end of the day, if you only have the choice between whether you want the outside of the glass to make it look like it's not too good, or you want the inside of the glass to be good, at the end of the day, if you have to choose between which ones to be clean, the inside or outside, the inside is more important. Now, of course, we want them both, but the inside is very important, because that means that if the inside of the glass is dirty, no matter what juice, no matter what drink, no matter what you have, it's going to be dirty if you pour it inside that dirty-ass glass. But if it's just the outside, bottom of the cup or some shit like that, you can stick a straw in that mother. You can stick a straw in it and drink it, because the water inside, or whatever it is inside, should be good. Would be good. So work on the inside more diligently if you only have time for one or the other. All right? Okay, so let's continue. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord thy God. I am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto those, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So what is love? To keep the Most High's commandments. That's the reason why Yeshua said, the Most High's Son said, if you say basically, roughly, if you say you love him, yet don't follow his commandments, then you're a liar. Because love and following of the commandments is wrapped up together. They are part of the same definition of the word. It's necessary. You can't just say you love the Most High and you break all the laws, statutes, and commandments. You have no care for his word. If you want to learn to love the Most High, if you want to learn to have a better relationship with him, it starts with cleaning the inside of that glass and taking, to the best of your ability, sanctifying your life and your walk and your heart and your mind. Putting those disgusting images from away from you, from your eyes. Changing the way you do business to the best of your ability. And again, nobody is perfect, but the simple fact that nobody is perfect is not an excuse to do nothing. The simple fact that that the daunting or the end result task of being 100% clear from any wrongdoing in your life, though that be not very realistic, it is, the process is not an excuse not to begin that process. And to you who may have much, or to me or to anyone who looks at their life and sees a multitude of things that don't align or doesn't come into full alignment with Most High's word, it may seem as if, almost why bother? Because it's maybe you perceive that the end of the path is much more further and farther than you're able to go. But let that not be an excuse. Because, you start one foot before the other, and eventually you'll get there. But you got to have faith in the Most High that he's right in what he says, and that what he's talking about is true. And he says basically that those who love him follow his commandments. Now I'll read number 6 again. And showing mercy, and that you'll get mercy. And showing mercy unto them, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Can he hold somebody guiltless? Yes. If Most High put in your spirit to come back to him in truth and sincerity, if he put in your spirit to come back to him and his law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, is it possible for you to fall short in one way or another way and the Most High still hold you as blameless? Yes. Because he knows you. He knows what it is that you've been doing. He knows what it is that you've been intending to do. He knows what it is that, that you have done. He knows you to the T. And the act of trying to change or trying to allow the Most High to change who you are and how you do business, is in and of itself a worthy, it's a worthy attempt. It's the plan. It's what we as men of God, or even aspiring men of God, must do to the best of our ability in order to be in order to be in the right position, in order to be sanctified or being sanctified in the preparation of the coming of the Most High. So, again, that is and should be your goal. That is what you should be working towards and moving towards and doing to the best of your ability. No excuses. Getting rid of this, getting rid of that, getting rid of everything you can see, feel, touch, sense in your life that doesn't jive with the Most High. In your spirit, in your mind, in your thought processes that don't jive with the Spirit of God. Now, he warns you, and I'll read that warning again. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, nor for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. So, the Most High has a plan to show mercy to Israel, to those who come back to him in truth and sincerity, to those who come back to following his law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. And, he has it in his plan to show mercy to them, to that 1/3, of our nation. Best believe. He's already had that written in. However, that's not an excuse to say that there's nothing you have to do or nothing you're going to do in your life. Because again, sanctification, getting your life ready to the best of your ability, puts you in position for that mercy. But the mercy comes from the Most High. And he ultimately will decide who gets mercy and who will not. Who is the 1/3 and who finds out that they're the 2/3. Okay, so let's continue. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day in the Sabbath is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Okay, so you obviously want to honor your mother and your father. The elderly in Israel, those who are knowledgeable of the scriptures, and be one of them. Study to show yourself approved, as it is written. And of course, the Sabbath day, you guys know the Sabbath day to the best of our ability. 7th day of the week to the best of our ability, like I said, and like many have said, we've lost the days, the holy days, the high holy days, and so forth, and whatever or not. So, we honor the Sabbath day or the 7th day as we come to understand it to the best of our ability for the Most High. And we look to him for mercy and trembling when he arrives, because we know that nobody is perfect, and there's a need for him, and a need and a desire for his cleansing, even above and beyond what we can do in terms of sanctifying ourselves. Though that be the goal, the reality obviously is, no matter what, we're still going to need the Most High, and we still pray for forgiveness of all of our sins on a daily basis, if not literally in our heart and in our spirit, because he knows every single one of us and you know, and where we're at in this walk towards Him. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they were moved and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thus with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. You know, I'm gonna keep reading this because I just care for it so much. And the people stood far off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was, God being near the thick darkness. And the Lord said unto Moses, Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. You know, an altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice there on the burnt offerings, and on the peace offerings, and thy sheep and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not burn it of hewn stone, for if thou lift up the tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by the steps unto my altar, that thou nakedness be not discovered therein. So basically, they were scared of talking. Our ancestors were scared of talking with the Most High because of the trembling and the thundering and everything that He caused when He came, and they wanted to talk to the Most High through the man of God, because they were afraid of the Most High, which is the way that it should be, which is righteousness. A fear of the Most High, a righteous fear of the Most High is what it's supposed to be. Is the beginning of wisdom. Be ready. We have a lot of things going on, you know, in the world today. There's a lot of anxiety with all these different markets, all these different levels of power being shaken in this country. And expect a trembling even in Israel amongst those who are and have been sanctified. You know, because that's required. But it is a blessing to be sanctified, and the Most High will bring out 1/3 of our people such as this, and 144,000 of our people. Well, in America, 12,000 so-called Negroes, people of character, people which are sanctified, trembling as thus. Because that is the process and the blessing of being in the right positioning with the Most High. Put not your faith in this country, put not your faith in the government, put not your faith in the leaders of these Gentiles. Put your faith in the Most High, that everything that He has said in regards to your nation, O Israel, and everything that He has said in regards to your people, O Israel, and their relationship with Him, He shall fulfill Himself. He shall cause to come to fruition, to fullness, to into view, to pass. And putting it and having faith in Him and His Word, you call it to be. You call it out before it even fully manifests. But it is manifesting even as we speak. And knowing that He's coming and having faith of His coming, take hold of the preparation, the sanctification that has to take place in your life in preparation for His arrival. That's righteous to do so. That is right. Which is why one of the other reasons why the Most High is written says, remember the days of old, because if you remember that the priests that Moses had to sanctify the people before the Most High arrived, if you remember that happened in Egypt the first time, then you should understand how that needs to happen now in the second Egypt, waiting on the Most High to arrive to bring about our second Exodus. And you should realize the importance of that. And through having a relationship with the Most High, and one that is based on truth and sincerity, He lets you know the importance of preparation and getting ready, and the importance of these telecasts that He's putting out, of the ministry that He is pushing. All around the world, that you'll understand or should understand the importance of this truth, and why it's so dangerous to the established order, why it's so dangerous to these Gentiles and these heathens, why it's so dangerous to this country. Just like this information was dangerous to Egypt the first time, when Moses showed up and started talking to the slaves and telling them that they were the children of God, and that the Most High had brought Him to them, and that they were going to come out and they were going to go to the land of milk and honey, and that He was going to be their God, and they was going to be His people, and that He was going to set up His kingdom with them. It was dangerous to the established order before. It's dangerous to the established order now. The established order hated our ancestors before, for coming with this truth and for revealing these things that are hidden in this world, these evil demonic things that are hidden in this world, by calling them out, these demonic powers and whatnot. It's just like they hate the Akim, those of us, the Israelites, the scripture out there pushing this truth on the street corners and behind the back booth. That's why they hate us now, because of jealousy, because of being opposed to the Most High and so forth. That's why, the man of God can go online and look at his videos and so forth and see like 24, 30 comments that I just haven't even gotten a chance to get to, many of which filled with our enemies screaming just all kinds of garbage and talking about this, that, and the other meaningless stuff, and trying to just do anything in their power to try to discourage the men of God for doing the work, and it's not going to work, because what we do as men of God is who the Most High has made us to do. It is our nature. It is who we are, whom He created us to be. In terms of pushing this truth, in terms of getting the word out, it is what gives us meaning and purpose. One of which. All right. Well, thanks for watching. The word of the Most High Yah. For man does not live by bread alone, but on the word of the Most High. All right. And I will see you again next time. It's not destroyed, actually. What they were called is, they were whitewashed.
Okay.
There was a Renaissance period of time where they basically took, the conquering nation basically took the image of Christ, which, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, is a black man. And in Revelation they tell you what color he is because it tells you that. And they made him look white. And they made the Bible look white. What color is that? Jews are an olive color. Do you know what the word Jew comes from? Yeah, what the word Jew comes from? What's the word Jew short for? But you know that they're olive color, but you don't know what the name of them comes from. I'll answer that question. The name of Jews comes from the house of Judah. And the house of Judah, incidentally, of the Negroes here in America. We are from the house of Judah as put forth in the truth. There is nothing scriptural that tells us it's okay that you don't agree with it, because truth is truth whether you want to accept it or not. If you don't believe,
I know that, that's why I'm listening. That's why I'm sort tolerating you.
You don't have to tolerate me because it's not my truth. It's the truth of the Bible, the very book that you say you represent. See, you can say to yourself, I don't believe this aspect, I don't believe that aspect, but you're not going against me, you're going against the very book that you say you're here to preach, teach, and show us. Because they told me, I didn't write that, I'm not the author of that.
I'm not one of your church.
The author of that. I'm not a church.
Yeah, I'm not one of your students. I'm a teacher, so I don't need you to try to teach me. Okay? You understand that? Okay. Don't try to
You say that you're a teacher. Fine,
I don't want you to try to teach me.
but you say you're a teacher.
Yes, sir.
The question is this.
In your mind,
As a teacher,
this is the question in your
sure,
mind.
but if you're a teacher, then you're
This
here to
is the question in your
teach.
mind.
So how can you teach if you can't answer questions which potential students may ask you? You're a teacher, so could you teach the $1 million question that's on the hearts and minds of the Negroes in this country, which is where they come from? It's in your book.